I've been fishing, ever since I could probably hold a fishing rod. I've really just embraced it a lot over the past, decade. And I've really learned to enjoy more of the whole process. And, fortunately I have my older son who's really gotten into it, as much as I have. I had my now 8-year-old, but at the time my 6-year-old and I, kind of teamed up, and I set the hook and he caught a 44-inch northern pike. I mean, that was, a fish that he will talk about the rest of his life, and he continues to make reference to. But I was just able to go to Alaska with my dad and a friend of mine over the summer, and I caught a 46-inch halibut, so I gave him a little bit of crap. And Luke now is determined that he needs to get back on and have the biggest fish in the household. So he's counting the days till he can go up and maybe catch some kind of fish in Alaska that's longer than 46 inches. This past winter, I met a couple friends up at a lake that was about, an hour-and-a-half drive north of town. We were having so much fun and the fish were biting, and so I called my babysitter and somebody to see if they could watch the kids a little bit longer. We saw a tip-up go outside of the fish house we were on, and we got excited to go out there and grab it, and I stood up and my phone was on my lap and it went right into my hole and ended up on the bottom in 21 feet of water. I went through a pretty dark place because, phones aren't cheap, and I'm not a wealthy man. And I tried scooping up, and then I covered it up completely so we couldn't see it. Somewhere on that way home, I kind of took it from being upset or depressed or angry and turned it into determined. And I was determined I was going to get that thing back the next day because I knew exactly where on the bottom that thing had to be. And I came up with a few ideas, and I called my dad, and he's like, well, I think you're thinking about trying to strap some poles together and get it landing down to the bottom and scooping it, but I got this roof rake that we use to clear snow off of our roof of our house. And so I met him and got the snowmobile and the roof rake, and I grabbed my landing net and went back, and of course Chris Plies was along for that ride. Scooped the first time, came up empty-handed, scooped again with the landing net, and pulled that thing all the way to the top, and sure enough my phone was sitting in the bottom of the net, and so I retrieved it out of 21 feet of water 22 hours later. And I went to pull the case off, and it was on and had 45% battery. And I'm still using that phone to this day.
To think I won 5 straight games from out of nowhere to win Olympic curling gold might not be the best story that John Shuster can tell. That was a pretty good one.